Hi, my name is Pip Coombs. This is my debut novel, The Hunted, which is the first book in the Phoenix series. Today I'm going to introduce you to some of the characters in this book that are a really important part of the Phoenix series. Today we're going to start with Aurora Nichols, who is a 17-year-old who is voluptuous, quirky, athletic, graceful, and she is the older sister of another character called Ewan, who I'm not going to talk about today, but she is a little bit left of center. She is quite funny and lighthearted and generous and caring. She has slightly crooked front teeth that she's a bit self-conscious of, and she has really a radiant smile, beautiful blue eyes, and curly blonde hair. Aurora has a very curious personality. Each of the witches and wizards in the Phoenix series have special gifts, and Aurora's gift is that she can cast sonar waves, so that allows her to feel where somebody is in terms of what distance or what angle they are away from her, and she can use that kind of like, you know, ships use sonar. And she also has some degree of elemental manipulation. Trixibel Avery is half elf, half human, and she brings an interesting perspective because she was raised amongst the elves of Havenfield, not amongst the magical community. She does adapt quickly to life at the Ophelii Academy of Magic, or OAM, but despite adapting quickly, she doesn't ever really feel truly at home amongst the witches and wizards the same way she does amongst the elves of Havenfield. She is curious, she is very observant, she has a quirky sense of humor that comes out occasionally, but for the most part she's quiet and she's observant. She's curvy and very physically strong. The elves themselves are extremely physically strong, and because she's part elf, that is something that we see in Trixibel. She has very thick curly red hair and freckles. She's extremely intelligent, she's very observant, she matures quickly, and she's very talented in terms of her healing abilities, but she can also cast lightning from her body, so that is her gift. Amongst the magical community, there are 6 noble houses. These houses dated back as far as the magical records do, and they have particular items of extreme value that they can hold over other people, and they're also generally pure blood houses. One of those houses is the House of Humphreys, and from the House of Humphreys we meet Michael. And one of the markers of someone who belongs to the House of Humphreys is that they always have at least one blue eye. So Michael has one blue eye and one hazel eye. He's also quite tall, he's well built, he's got brown floppy hair, and he is very intelligent, observant, but he's also an excellent strategist. Michael's gift is one that I would love, and he is a dragon tamer. Max Sire comes from an extremely prestigious family background. He is a descendant of 3 houses, the House of Delafonte, the House of Boacinth, and the House of Sire. These 3 houses are extremely powerful, particularly the Delafontes and the Boacinths. They tend to produce extraordinary witches and wizards, and Max has grown up in a house that is extremely troubled, and he has a lot of pent-up anger and resentment about his family life. His family tree is littered with hemophilia because his family is so inbred, because they like to keep their close ties, and they like to keep powerful witches and wizards and pure blood in their family lineage. As I said, Max has a lot of anger and a lot of resentment and a lot of self-loathing, and that comes out more in later books, but in The Hunted he is arrogant and he's obnoxious, and he and William don't get on so well. And he has this incredibly beautiful snakewood wand, which is kind of like a dark brown wood wand with speckles of yellow on it that are kind of like snake skin patterning, and it was made with a lot of anger and a lot of cruelty, and so his magical gifts and his abilities as a wizard are impacted by that. Miles Haas is kind of your lovable fuck up. So he comes from the House of Haas, which is an extremely well-known house. is one of the 6 noble houses. It is a house that is incredibly loyal to the Ophelia and to the side of good, but it has been tainted by the marriage of Miles's father to his mother, who is a Parvi, so she has no magical abilities. So there are a lot of people within the community who believe that he has, in marrying Nora White, diluted the respectability of the House of Haas. Miles is tall and gangly with floppy brown hair. He is awkward and clumsy, but he has a great sense of humor and a huge heart. He's incredibly loyal, and he has a way of breaking tension and taking care of people that's really unique to Miles. Talia is a character we meet towards the end of The Hunted, and she is extremely important to the Phoenix series going forward, but we don't meet her till the end, and she has beautiful warm brown skin, dark eyes, and long black hair. Talia is actually a werewolf, and she has been promised to William. When they were both young, their fathers made an agreement, a betrothal between the two, and in the werewolf world, that is quite magically binding. So Talia will never be with anybody other than William. She will be loyal to him always. She will protect him always, and they will be able to feel each other when the other is in danger. But I'm not going to say too much more about Talia because we don't really spend a lot of time with her in The Hunted. We spend a lot more time with her in future books. Nathaniel Elderson is 18. He has dark features and he is extremely bright. He is very studious and a little bit socially awkward, and he has quite a dark path that he goes down, and he drags his twin sister Penelope along with him. The twins actually have a telepathic connection that allows them to read each other's minds, but it doesn't extend to other people. But it does mean that they are incredibly close and incredibly bound together, which means that when Nathaniel goes down this dark path, it is extremely hard for Penelope to not go down the rabbit hole with him. He is gifted in terms of his ability to hold his breath and still move around and do everything as if he was breathing for a really long time. Their parents are animal traders, so they trade all kinds of incredible animals like dragons all around the magical community, and so these kids grew up traveling around Europe, traveling around Lanhyvelia, and they're comfortable with magical creatures. Last but not least, we've got our 2 main characters, and it's their perspective that we read in The Hunted, and that is Penelope Elderson, Nathaniel's twin sister, and William Phoenix. Penelope, like I said, is gifted with telepathy with her brother, Nathaniel. She is also very like her mother, and one of the family traits is that when the daughter looks like the mother, she is gifted with fire. So Penelope can cast fire from her body, and that leads to some interesting events, especially because she has a little bit of a temper and she's a little bit emotionally immature, and so that can lead to some volatility and some explosions of fire from her body. Penelope is very, very protective and extremely loyal, and because she's so loyal, she really struggles with betrayal and struggles to forgive people when they betray her. So life's going to be a little bit challenging for Penelope. She's got a lot of learning and a lot of growing to do. She's very feisty and solutions orientated, and she's quite a slender build and has olive skin, warm brown eyes, and long curly brown hair. William Phoenix is a shapeshifter. He's also part werewolf, and he doesn't find that out until his 18th birthday, when he gets a kind of nasty shock that he is actually the Orphea, the one the prophecy spoke of, the one the vampires are hunting, and he has to then confront that truth and the lies that he has been told all of his life, because he has been sheltered and hidden away from this world in order to protect him. He's tall and he has dark features, and he's very well developed and has exceptional hearing, and the parts of him that are more animalistic mean that physically, he develops a lot faster than everyone else. He's an exceptional fighter. He has great instincts and great awareness of what's going on around him, but it takes him some time to realize why that's the case. As I said, William has to find a way to deal with the lies he's been told, and he has to find a way to shoulder an enormous amount of responsibility, because he is the Orphea, he is also the Alpha. So he is essentially the king of the werewolves, which means he is entirely responsible for their well-being. It also means that he discovers that he is betrothed to Talia. So he has been promised in marriage to someone he has never met before, and he has a very short amount of time to either marry somebody else, or he is going to end up with Talia, whether he likes it or not. He also has to deal with the fact that because he is the most hunted person in the magical community in the world, because the vampires want him and want to kill him, he has to find a way to survive, because his survival is directly linked to the survival of all the people he loves, all of his friends, and all the rest of the magical community. But in the same breath, protecting them means often putting himself in danger, and part of his adventure is trying to find a way to do that and making some mistakes along the way. Poor William comes to this world completely unprepared, having been entirely sheltered by his mother, and he has to learn really quickly and learn about magic, the magical community, learn to cast magic, learn to fight, and learn how to be responsible for all the things that the son of the High Priestess is responsible for. In a world where blood is going to be spilt all around him, sometimes in order to protect him, William has to really learn to deal with that, and he has to confront the realities of who he is, the lies he's been told, and learn how to become the best wizard he can possibly be as fast as possible. So this has been a little bit of an insight into some of the characters in the Phoenix series, and particularly in The Hunted. As I release subsequent books in the series, I will do this again and talk more about other characters. It's a little bit tricky at this point because I don't want to say too much and I don't want to reveal too much of the story and spoil it for you, but I hope that you will read this book, and I hope that if you do read it, you'll review it, whether you review it on Goodreads, YouTube, Amazon, wherever. I would really appreciate it if you do review it if you read it, and let me know below in the comments what you think. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel and check me out on social media. I'm on Twitter and Instagram @PipCoombs.